Last night's vice presidential debate was a big letdown. In a minute, I will discuss who voters thought won. There has really only been one scientific poll on that, but I'm also going to discuss a Fox News focus group of undecided voters and their thoughts on the debate. But really, I don't see this debate doing much to the race. I don't think it's going to hurt or help anybody. The race will largely stay the same. It was Mike Pence, as I expected, lying after lying after lying. When he was actually answering questions, he was lying. Most of the time, he was evading the actual questions. He never actually answered what his healthcare plan or what their healthcare plan is. Of course, they have none. He never said what he would do if Trump tried to steal the election and not leave office. Many questions Mike Pence didn't answer. Kamala Harris barely pushed Mike Pence on anything. She had moments where, she seemed at least willing to push him occasionally on some issues. But there was so much Kamala Harris could have done that she just did not capitalize on. That said, I still thought Kamala easily won the debate. Mike Pence just lied way too much. I mean, as somebody who consumes this information, politics every single day, it was very obvious that Mike Pence was just playing politician, trying to be as evasive as possible while also seeming like he was answering the questions when he never was. But I'm not sure most people saw that, though we will look at polling in a minute to show you what people did see. We could also discuss Mike Pence's red eye. This apparently is a symptom of the coronavirus in 3% of people. We could discuss how Kamala Harris pushed this idea that they will not ban fracking. Oh, there was like 10 minutes on fracking and how Kamala Harris loves fracking. The state they are worried about, Pennsylvania, actually wants to ban fracking. So they need to do a little more research on that, because you lose a ton of young people, especially when it comes to issues around climate and still supporting fracking. Insane. Anyways, we could also discuss the fly on Mike Pence's head. I mean, it is what it is. I covered this all live last night, so going over some of this stuff just isn't worth it for me. But yes, a fly landed on his head, showing all of us that Mike Pence is indeed a living corpse. But what matters, ultimately, is what voters thought. CNN here with their post-debate CNN poll. Harris seen as winner in a contest that matched expectations. All right, get a little deeper here on the data. Kamala Harris with 59% saying that she won the debate. Mike Pence with 38% saying he won the debate. A clear victory here for Kamala Harris. And looking at Debate Watcher's favorable view of candidate, before the debate, Kamala Harris had a 56% favorable view. After the debate, it was 63%, so it grew quite a bit compared to Pence, who stayed the same at 41% before and after. Now, just to be clear on who was polled, in this poll, CNN's David Chalayan pointed out on air that part of Harris's margin is explained by the poll's sample skewing more Democratic, but that's not enough to explain all of Harris's margin. 38% of respondents were Democrats, 29% were Republicans, and 33% were independents. So even though the poll did skew more Democratic, Kamala Harris clearly did much better than the skewing in the poll. So I thought that was obvious as well. Neither candidate really gave a great performance here, but taking them for what they are, Mike Pence just would not stop lying, was incredibly evasive, and Kamala Harris could have said a lot more, but at least she, I think, came off more honest than Mike Pence did. Now, let's go to the Frank Luntz Fox News focus group of undecided voters. So last time, his focus group said that Joe Biden definitely won, and Trump was, he was described as a crackhead by one of the members, but that was essentially how the entire focus group felt about Donald Trump last time. This time, though, this was Mike Pence's night. Frank Luntz's panel of undecided voters called Kamala Harris abrasive and condescending. I don't get this at all. To me, this just screams racism. These undecided voters are just racist. Kamala Harris was not at all abrasive or condescending. I wanted her to interject more. I wanted her to be angrier. I wanted her to really make the case for the destruction that Trump and Pence have caused. She barely did that. Yet still, they called her abrasive and condescending. So maybe it was good that she held back a bit, as a lot of voters apparently are just in some other world. Here, though, Frank Luntz says, I want to emphasize it's not that Pence did so well because they felt both candidates were not answering the questions as well as they would have liked. He continued, they were more upset with Kamala Harris's reactions to Pence. The smiling, the smirking, the scowling. They were angrier at that than they were that Mike Pence went over his time in almost every debate. I think they mean question here. In almost every question. Luntz said that voters do not like when candidates run over their time, but that his group was more agitated with Kamala Harris's presentation. Look, I read an article before the debate, in Vox actually, about how there was this worry from the Kamala Harris camp that they didn't want her to come off as the angry black lady. And I read that article thinking that was crazy. That no, Kamala Harris has to come out angry, pissed off, make the case against Trump and Pence. She has to do that and do it with force. Well, apparently, a lot of these people exist. I don't know how the hell you watched that debate and were bothered by Kamala Harris's presentation. The only way it should bother you is that she didn't go hard enough on Pence. But whatever. Regardless, so this undecided panel thought Mike Pence did better. But again, CNN poll that is more scientific than that focus group. I think this focus group is like 16 people. So not that many people in that compared to an actual scientific poll. But I just don't think this debate really had much of an impact. Regardless, we're going to see, but I was excited for this debate because I really thought Kamala Harris was going to come hard. She didn't really. She did all right. Ultimately, this debate is going to be forgotten about by the weekend.